Welcome everyone to Client Acquisition and Scaling for Web Devs, SEOs, and Marketing Agencies. This is our Monday Mindset with me, Lisa Parziel, and we do this every single Monday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. We come here to get inspired and get motivated for a prosperous, productive week so we can take off our Fridays, right? Okay, so we always start by giving a nod to Agency Fast Track. If you don't know about Agency Fast Track, if you're new to the group, go ahead and just type new in the comments and we'll make sure to get you some stuff that will help you get started. Or you can go to agencyfasttrack.com and check out what we have there. Today, we're going to be talking about time. So I think the quote from Steve Jobs is very, very apropos. The most precious resource we all have is time. And today we are going to talk about 3 simple tips to take back time so you can go on vacation. Now you see why I have this tropical setting behind me in my background here. But honestly, we spend a lot of time working. And as business owners, as we start our business, we have a tendency to work way too many hours and do way too much. So I want to talk to you about just a couple of things that I learned that helped me manage my time a little bit better, or I should say manage myself a little better, because we can't manage time, right? Time's going to tick, tick, tick away whether we want it to or not. So I just want to give you just kind of some insights into what I did to help me better bucket my time. Most of you guys know in the summer, I take a lot of Fridays off. I take a lot of weekdays off, and I obviously don't work my weekends at all. That's not how it used to be in my business. In fact, I used to work 80 or more hours a week. I used to work the weekends. I used to work nights. I literally pulled all-nighters because I just didn't, have all the tools I needed for success. And time is just one of those things that if we can master, if we can really manage ourselves better, we're going to be able to have, a more productive workday, which means less time sitting behind the computer or the desk. So the first thing I always like to talk about when I talk about time is ask questions, like challenge yourself. Excuse me. Don't settle for where you're at today. If you're working 50 hours a week, maybe you want to be at 40 hours a week. If you're working 80 hours a week, maybe your first goal is just to get to 70 hours a week. At the end of the day, though, we have to start asking the tough questions that give us the motivation to really want to get that time back. So here's some questions I had to ask myself, and I was taught when I was learning how to do these very things. Can you take off half a day every single week? So is there any day during the week you can just take half a day off during the week? And feel free to in the comments put yes, no, whatever you want. If you're watching the replay, if you happen to be watching on YouTube down the road, just go ahead and play along. But can you take half a day off any day during the week? Right? Now, the answer you're looking for is yes. And if you can't, hopefully we'll give you some tips today to help you that. Could you go on vacation next week without notice? Great question, right? Next week without notice. Now, barring, forget that, you don't have someone to watch the kids. Pretend you did. Could you just go on vacation without notice? I know in my business, I couldn't do that previously. I couldn't just get up and go do whatever I wanted to do because I was chained, shackled to my business. I actually felt trapped at one point. And if you do, type the word trapped in the comments. Honestly, you're not alone, okay? If you take a week or 2 off, does your business sustain itself without you? Or are you forced to come in and play catch up, and before you leave, work as many hours as it would take to leave? Do you have to bring your phone? Do you have to have it on all the time? Again, you're looking for yeses to all these questions. When was the last time you only worked 6 hours in a day? Not 8, not 10, not 12. I was at a point in my business where I was working 16-hour days, 7 days a week. Ridiculous. Don't be me. I was probably the worst business owner you could ever find. Hence why I probably am really good now at helping others find their balance. When was the last time you did not work a weekend? I can tell you when the last time I didn't work a weekend was this weekend. This is the first time I'm working pretty much since Friday. I did do a couple things on my computer over the weekend, but they were for fun. I'm taking a course and I was doing some homework just for myself. Otherwise, I did not work this weekend. When was the last time you did that? Hopefully it's in the present time, like just last weekend or the weekend before, right? How many weeks could you be gone in a row from your business? Could you be gone 1, 2, 4, 8? Are you happy with how much time you spend in your business? How many hours you work? Again, ask these questions of yourself, because when you get the answers, when you take a deep look at yourself, which I actually did in the past, you come up short and think, wait a minute, this is not why I started my business. All right, so that's the negative. We're going to stay out of the negative the rest of this session, and we're going to go into the positive, right? Once you're honest with yourself, once you've asked those tough questions, now that's when you can start making honest changes in your business. Honest changes. Because back in the day, people used to ask me, to do something, and I would say, I don't have time. Right? I remember one business coach who once said to me, you need to go hire someone to help. And my response was so standard. I literally said, I don't have time. I don't not have time. I've got to make that change. And the only way I'm going to make that change is to make the time, right? What I was saying to him is, I don't want to change. I'm not ready to hire somebody. I'm not ready to give up that control. I'm not ready to hand things over that I do to somebody else. It had nothing to do with time, because bringing that person on would have saved me time. So we have to be honest with ourselves, because once we get honest, once we get crystal clear with any issues we have in our business or with ourselves, then we can honestly make changes to those things. Now, today we want change, right? Remember, Monday Mindset is all about coming in here, changing our minds so we can change our business. So today's the day, not tomorrow, not last week. You came here today because you wanted to be motivated, but more importantly, you're looking for change. So today is the day. We're going to help you make some changes, okay? If you want a life like no one else, right? I live a life like very few of the people I know do, very few of my friends, very few of my relatives. I also have to live like no one else. I have to put in the time when I need to put in the time, be succinct about how I spend my time so I can have this lifestyle. So today is the day we make the change. If you're ready to make a change and really take back time, I want you to write in the comments the word time, T-I-M-E. Put that in the comments. Again, if you're watching live, I totally expect every single one of you guys to type that in. If you're watching the replay, I want you to go ahead and put it in the comments. I want you to get used to making a commitment to yourself. When you write it down, you've come out in public, but more importantly, you've said to yourself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make changes. I'm going to take back time. I want you to think about no more excuses, right? And I'm going to give you a great story here in a minute that'll help you kind of see the light like I did if you're spending too much time in your business. No more excuses, no more apologies, no more regrets. And if we get no more of those three things, we also have no more 50+ hour work weeks, right? No more excuses, no more apologies, no more regrets equal 50 hours or less in your work week. And I say 50 because as business owners, we do tend to work a little bit more than if we worked a job. So I'm going to give you 50. I'm going to give you 50. I try to work 40 or less. I try to work Monday through Thursday if I can help it. I like to have 3-day weekends. Who doesn't, right? When I remember when I was working at job, I used to say, man, if I could just come in and work 10 hours a day for 4 days in a row, I'd rather do that than come here on Friday. So why not in my own business? Why not make that a goal? And why not try to make that a reality? Keep that in mind. Okay, what if? I'm going to ask you guys a big question here. And I learned this from a guy you might happen to have heard of, Zig Ziglar. In one of the talks he did, he said one day, what if I offered you a free 7-day vacation to Acapulco? All expenses paid. The only catch is you have to leave tomorrow. Could you go? I'm going to raise my hand and say, I could go. I could go tomorrow. Obviously, I would have to have child or animal care set up, right? Y'all know I have dogs. So of course my dog sitter would have to be free. But let's pretend that your child care or your animal care or that kind of thing's taken care of. Could you go tomorrow if you were offered a free 7-day vacation, all expenses paid? The only catch is you have to leave tomorrow. Could you do that? Yes or no in the comments? Yes or no in the comments? And for those of you guys that are here, I see a bunch of people in here. I don't see a ton of people chatting with me. If we can't put it out here in the real world, we're not going to make change. Okay, I love it. Carl, thank you for being honest. No, Carl could not go. And it's okay. I couldn't go either. For years upon years upon years in my business, I was a slave to my business. And I thought that's what I had to do to make money. In fact, I thought it was almost required. And if I didn't do it, I wasn't doing the right thing. Nothing could be farther from the truth. So, purposeful time. Let me tell you a story. So that's a picture of me and Colette at Disney World. And it's funny, when I go to Disney World, I can almost always get everything I need to get done in 1 or 2 hours in the morning and an hour at night. Now that's back when I couldn't take time off from my business. So I would bring my computer to Disney World. And I could almost get everything done in 3 hours a day. The same happened when we would go to Destin, Florida. We would rent a beach house a couple blocks from the beach, and we'd stay there for a month. Happy hour was at 3 p.m. every day because it was the winter and all the snowbirds. It's funny, again, how I could get everything done that I needed to get done in order to make happy hour. Because every day I wanted to sit at some place by the beach, watching the ocean with friends, having a good time. And we would do that almost every single day when we were there. It's funny how that happened. And one day when I got back from Destin, that's when I realized, man, I was getting stuff done when I was in Destin or at Disney World or wherever I really wanted to be. It's funny how quickly I got my tasks done. I didn't dork. I didn't, get distracted. I didn't go watch YouTube videos. I didn't play on my phone because there was somewhere I really wanted to be. What I realized was I was actually taking purposeful time when that happened. I was actually deciding what's most important, what needs to be done. And I was doing those things quickly and efficiently so I could go to happy hour. Interesting, isn't it? So when I got back, after I realized this and I got back, I went on a mission to figure out how I could do that at home, right? Because at home, we don't really have any place to be. And so we have a tendency to take our time, and or at least I do, dawdle and dork around. And so I started thinking, how can I do this? And I started doing my homework and I started doing research and I started figuring out some things. And those are the things I'm going to share with you today. 3 simple tips that I used, right? I devised a way to ensure that the level of efficiency happened every day, not just when I was on vacation or when I wanted to go somewhere, but in a regular work week. And even if I wasn't going to do anything, or maybe I wasn't going to, there's no plans I had. I started to learn then whatever time I took back was my time. And if I chose to go down another avenue, if I chose to start another business, if I chose to, take a course on something, I could still use that time for things that were quote unquote work, but they weren't my regular work. They were usually extra credit. That's how I do actually have the time to juggle 3 different businesses and take Fridays off and not work most weekends. Now, in the winter, I tend to work weekends. Why? Because it's cold and I don't go outside. So unless we have something to do, I usually don't go anywhere. So there's different things you want to think about. You can always negotiate with yourself. So the first and foremost thing that I have figured out is I create time buckets. Now, we don't have time for me to go into this. In fact, in our program, X Success, we spent a whole week talking about how to manage time, and we talk about time buckets, and we teach all those principles. But let me give you the 10,000 foot overview. Time buckets are really just chunks of time that I set aside specifically for certain things. And when that time is up, I move on to the next bucket. So what do I mean by that? When I get up in the morning, the first couple hours of the day, I try not to read email. I try not to get on Skype. And instead, I try to do something that I need to get done. Right now, I'm taking a course, so I'm trying to do my homework in those time buckets. At other times, it might be, I'm trying to come up with something new, or I'm trying to read a book. It doesn't matter. In the morning, when I get up, usually my 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. hour, I'm not working on work. I'm not checking email. I'm not doing things. But at 9 o'clock, like clockwork, that has to stop. Doesn't matter where I am. Because at 9, I start my portside marketing bucket. And I work anywhere from 2 to 3 hours a day. If that, on portside marketing. That's kind of my time to do that kind of stuff. Sometimes I only do an hour and then I move on to other stuff. Other times I do 2 hours, but at the end of the day, I try to get that stuff done. That might include going through email, answering people, getting some tasks done, helping my PM, helping, our teams, whatever it is, et cetera, et cetera. What I do is I prioritize my time in a way every single day that I have time for everything I need to touch. I have time for my agency. I have time for Agency Fast Track. I have time for our new software company. I have time for this. I have time for that. The cool thing about time buckets are you never feel bad when you have to stop working on something, because you got a new time bucket tomorrow. You could pick up where you left off. So time buckets, and it's weird, I also have time buckets for my family time and personal growth in business, right? I don't not work every weekend, but it's very much known that I try not to. And on the weekends, especially during the summer, my family does know that's their time. During the week, like right now, notice it's silent in this house because I'm the only one here, because this was my work time bucket for today. And so I'm left here to do my work on purpose so I could get it done fast and efficient. Get my meetings done, get my work done, so we can go do something this afternoon, go do something fun. I prioritize my time. I guard my time like it's precious. I literally have blocked time on my calendar where nobody can get an appointment with me. Nobody can put time on my calendar unless they ask me. But the time where I want them to, I open that up. Here's the time I'm available to you. Here are my buckets. And that's all I let happen. This time bucket system has really changed the way I do things and really helped me to hyper focus, because you have a time limit. So think about when I was going on vacation, I was taking and getting all this stuff done in such a short period of time because I had a time limit. Adding these time buckets literally put a time limit on how long I have to get something done. What ended up happening was, if I were sitting working on something and Colette would come in and she'd say, hey, do you have a minute? In the past, I would have said, yeah, whatever. And I would get distracted and I maybe would help her or go do something. Now what I do is say, hey, no, I got to get this done by this time. And I look at my calendar, I said, but I'll be able to help you at this time. And I try to do that for the most part. Now, if I don't have anything to do and I have the time, sure, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and help somebody. But if I'm trying to get something done and I'm hyper focused on it, I will put people off. My PM all the time, will say, hey, I need to talk to you about this. And I'll say, hey, I can talk at this time. It's because I want to get done the things I told myself I would get done before I get distracted with something else. That's important because sometimes those distractions can be huge and set you down a path of you'll never get back to that thing. So if you need to get that thing done, get it done. Which brings me to tip number 2, the one thing. It's the title of a book, but it's also a mantra that I have adopted in my life. And it boils down to this: whatever the most important thing you should get done in any time bucket or otherwise, that's the thing you should do first. That's the thing you should do first for many reasons. First of all, if you do that thing first, it's out of the way, it's done. If you accomplish nothing else in that bucket or all day, depending on how important it is, you still feel like you've accomplished something. Better yet, it's not hanging over your head. You're not constantly thinking about it and being distracted by it, which tended to happen to me. So I decide, what do I need to get done? What's the number one thing I need to get done? And I get that thing done. And I'll digress with just a short little story on that. When I first started, when I first started hiring contractors, I was doing the management. Now our project manager does a lot of that management, thank goodness. But I was doing a lot of it. And I would spend hours doing some stuff only to realize, oh my gosh, had I, before I started, got things off my plate and done those tasks first to get it to my contractors, they'd be working while I was working. And I just started noticing that I would procrastinate and I wouldn't give them the work and I wouldn't give them the task. And I just wasn't taking the time to do what I needed to do. And then Friday would come and I would realize, okay, they're overseas, they're not working anymore, this thing is due. And I would have to, again, do it myself. I was my own worst enemy. So then I thought, okay, the first thing that I always have to do every single day is think about what's the things I can take off my plate and give to somebody else so there's less things on my to-do list. And that's often the most important thing I do all day is get other people what they need to get to work. When I get off this call today, one of the things I have to do today, I have new projects that I have to transition over to our project manager. So that will be the first thing I do today because that sets the gears in motion, the ball rolling to get that work done. And then I move on to the next thing, which is the next part of this. Once you get the one thing done and it's complete, if time permits in your bucket or in your day, figure out what's the next most important thing and then do that thing. If you keep doing this, what you're going to find are two things. One, you have a lot less stress, like the weight's off your shoulders because you're doing the things that need to get done. Most importantly, human nature, we'd rather get rid of 5 things on our list that are less important than one big giant task that's most important. That's human nature. But if you got rid of the one big thing, at the end of the day, you might look at those little tasks and go, filing, that's not needed, right? Why would you do filing first? And I used to do that. Oh, let's get everything in order. Let's make sure all my emails filed. Let's forget that. That's the least important thing. That's why they have search capabilities in our email, right? So the one thing, that's my tip number 2. Finally, tip number 3, and this is important. Stop or eliminate distractions. Email is never the most important thing. I'm going to repeat that. Email is never the most important thing. And I say that because when I was super busy and not managing myself correctly, the first thing I would do in the morning is get on my computer, open up email, and start handling email. And as I got to each email, I was either going to disposition it or let it pile up, right? No good can happen there because there's going to be things in your email that you have to deal with. They're going to distract you. They're going to send you down paths. There's going to be fires. There's going to be things that have to happen. Ask yourself this question. Can it wait? Why couldn't you wait until 10 a.m. every day to open email and spend the first hour getting done the most important thing you want to get done that day? Then no matter what happens in your email, whatever you open up, whatever fire drill there is, it's okay because you already got the most important thing done you wanted to get done that day. So it's okay. So my email time buckets are very short. I don't spend all day, every day with email on my mind. I don't go look at it all day, all the time. In fact, sometimes when I'm trying to get something done, I turn it off. I turn off Skype. There are times where I'm unreachable. My project manager knows. Worst case scenario, text me, call me, get my attention if it's such a fire that I can't wait. And in all the time I've had that kind of rule, I don't get many calls. Why? Because everything can wait. Not everything's a fire. And I also learned, don't set precedents with your customer. If you answer them within 10 minutes every single time they write you, what have you done? You've set that expectation. Good luck going on vacation. Good luck taking a day off. Now, I'm not saying don't respond. I will typically respond same day to every email I get. In fact, I encourage it with everyone, that deals with our customers. Like, even if you can't get to their task, let them know you got it. Hey, got it. Awesome. We'll get this in the queue, probably see it next week. Or, yeah, I can't handle that until tomorrow or the next day. It doesn't matter. Most of the time you're going to get a, okay, cool. But it's not something that has to be handled right then and there. It's not. I fell in that trap of constantly having distractions, email, Skype, text messages, my family, my friends. I mean, just constant distractions. And those distractions will make you less effective and they'll drive you insane. But most importantly, they'll deter you from getting the stuff done that is most important to you. And that's the stuff you need to be doing first. And then when you find yourself distracted, I've learned, and this is a learned behavior I'm still practicing, stop, assess what's going on, and recalibrate my priorities. So if I log onto Facebook, and if this is you, just smile to yourself right now. I log onto Facebook to go do something on a client's profile or go check something. The first thing that pops up gets my eye. I start reading it, and that leads me to this. And then I go over there to look at that. And now I'm on YouTube, and then I watch this. And then I go and shut them all down when I'm done. And I say, oh, dang, I got on Facebook to do this, and I never even did that. And an hour had passed. I try to catch myself before an hour passes. I'm trying to be better at that. But the minute you figure out you're doing it, stop. Stop it. Assess where you are and recalibrate. What do I need to get done in this hour? Why am I watching this video? Why am I being distracted? If I get distracted, that's an hour later I have to work. That's an hour more in the day I have to work. And frankly, there's nothing y'all could post, my family can post, anyone can post on Facebook that's so important, so funny, so engaging that I'm going to waste another hour of my day doing work because I got distracted by that stuff. Instead, I'd rather get all my work done. And then at the end of the day, if I feel like it, I can get onto Facebook and distract myself all I want. But I rarely choose to do that with my free time, which drives home the point that I had to tell myself, it's not that important. If you're getting married and the way you announce it is on Facebook, I'm probably not showing up to your wedding because I probably didn't see it because it's not important for me to be on that platform. So for me, email, the distractions, that was one of the biggest tips for me. Hopefully these tips, we try to keep these sessions short. Today's going to be pretty short. Why? Because of where I am, I want to enjoy myself, and we want to get done early today and spend the afternoon doing some stuff outside. Time is precious. This exercise, I'm going to tell you this. I kind of did the math on this for an example in our course. We go much deeper into this, but here's what it boils down to. If you could save 1 hour a day times 5 days. So we're going to pretend we work 5 days a week. We can save 1 hour a day and get better with our time. That's 260 hours a year that we have saved in a 52-week period, assuming we work 52 weeks, which I don't. But assuming that's the case, that's 6.5 weeks of vacation every single year. 260 hours is 6.5 weeks of 40-hour work week, just by saving 1 hour a day. Now, in our program, we go into the particulars of what is 1 minute, 2 minutes. When you actually start seeing the breakdowns and you see what time savings mean, that's why I encourage anyone who's not in our program, you need to consider it, because we go into the deep, level you need to. We don't just tell you what, like these sessions, we tell you what. We don't get into the how, we don't give you all the tools and that kind of thing. If you can learn these life-changing methods I'm talking about, right, it will change your life, right? And so I'm going to do a quick plug for the course. We spend an entire week in our program. And by the way, it's this week. Tomorrow is the session where we get into it, everything opened. So if you're not in the program and this is a big thing for you, this is the week to join, because you wouldn't miss this week. The entire week in this program gets you prepared to do more in less time. We give you the time blocking system, the calendar, and everything for free in the course. We also give you a free course I did at the beginning of the year. So check that out, but you're going to need, we gave away a special discount. You will need to contact us at support to get that discount, but do check it out. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Secondly, I've offered this a couple times. We're about to get to the point in our course where I can't offer this to you guys because I'll be spending a lot of time with the students in our course. Our students get not just 30-minute strategy sessions, they get 90-minute full-on work sessions with me, a couple of them. But if you want to just get on a call with me for 30 minutes, if you are not in our program and you've never gotten on a call with me before, I offer a free 30-minute strategy session to every single member of this Facebook group. What I do is I get in there and I solve your biggest problems in just 30 minutes. And that's a great way for you to see how useful time can be. If you want that, type strategy in the chat session. Just type the word strategy in there and we'll contact you. We'll get that set up. If you're watching the replay, type in strategy and we'll get that set up for you. Okay. Okay. Quote to end today, get you guys off on, the right foot. The bad news is time flies. The good news is you're the pilot. Okay. So the bad news is time flies, but you're the pilot of that time. And I'll say it again. There's no such thing as time management. We can't manage time. When you watch a clock, go ahead, try to manage it. Try to make time stop. You can't. But what you can do is manage yourself and how you use each and every moment of each and every day to more efficiently and more productively work through the things you need to work through. Okay, guys, if you want to get on the fast track to success, join us over at agencyfasttrack.com. If you're already a student, I see some of you guys here, you're already a student. I love you guys, love having you. I'm sure they can attest that our programs change lives, they change your business. More importantly, they give you a business. What I encourage everyone and what our programs are about is to create a sustainable business that gives you the lifestyle you truly started your business for. Free time and working when you want and how you want and having time for family and friends and things like that. Okay, guys, don't forget to come back here next week. I hope these tips help you and get your noodle going, get you thinking about things. We come here every week, client acquisition and scaling. We do our Monday mindset. Okay. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. YouTube is where these replays get posted. And we are now going to exclusively post them to YouTube. We're going to stop posting them live. I want you guys to succeed on purpose. Too many people are not taking action, and I'm going to make you guys take action any way I can. Why? because we know action builds better businesses. Remember, guys, you got to change your mindset to change your business. I'll see you back here next week. This week, have a safe, prosperous, and very productive work week. We'll see you again next week.